All right, here with Paulie Malignaggi, who just sparred Conor McGregor last night, and the world wants to know, how did it go?
55% of human communication is nonverbal, 38% is vocal inflection. Only 7% of what we communicate are the actual words we use. So we know Paulie signed a non-disclosure agreement with Conor, so he's going to choose his words carefully. But what does the other 93% of his communication have to say? That's what we're going to look at. Well, from the beginning, Paulie gives us a few things here.
All right, here with Paulie Malignaggi, who just sparred.
Right there, the very first gesture, he gives us a smirk. That's arrogance or smugness. It's secret knowledge. He's got something, he knows something that he's not going to tell us.
Sparred Conor McGregor.
Then we get a large, genuine smile. We know it's genuine because his eyes and the muscles around his mouth and even his ears move. They're all engaged in the smile. And the smile is just because he's happy to be center of attention.
Last night, and the world wants to know, how did it go?
It's good. It was good. We did 8 good rounds of work. I'd say it was educational. It was a lot of trash talking, as me and him are both known to have a little bit. And like I said, we did 8 good rounds of work. It was physical work. It was good work, and Conor's coming along.
In this clip, Paulie is asked about his opinion of Conor's chances in the boxing ring.
Ask you about Conor. We did the interview. You said you knocked his beard off. He said he slapped your nose off.
Yeah.
This is extremely interesting. Paulie gives us as dramatic a gesture or series of gestures as you're ever going to see.
Ask you about Conor.
Right there. He gives us the smack. In fact, he smacks his lips 4 times before he starts to answer the question. It's a dominance gesture. Paulie believes 100% that he is the dominant male between himself and Conor.
We did the interview. You said you knocked his beard off. He said he slapped your nose off.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's becoming like a joke now. Anybody who thinks this is a competitive fight becoming like a joke now. I don't think the guy's gonna box.
Another thing to think about is how Paulie speaks. He starts talking and he goes and goes. He's like a train that once it gets rolling, it just rolls and rolls and rolls.
Box anyway, but you know.
He's also extremely emotive. His head is all over the place. His eyes, his eyebrows, opens his mouth wide. He's a very loud, gestured person.
Just to give him like a fair chance, you can put ankle weights on my ankles. You can put so you slow down my feet. You can tie this hand behind my back, and then you can put like something here so that I can't keep my chin down either, so I can keep my chin up. So that way it gives him a good target to hit, you know. And then you just have my left hand, you know. And then we can do all that, and then we'll see if he can still beat him. Because who the fuck does he think he's gonna?
Right there. That's a quintessential Paulie Malignaggi gesture. Throwing his head all the way back, eyes wide open. This is a performance. He is completely into this. Now let's look at the next clip, and this is him working at Showtime. You're gonna see something similar, but you see his whole body in here. Watch how much his hands move.
When you're sparring, you are trying to light the other guy up.
Right.
I don't care if he's your best friend. I was always told as I was a kid, I don't care if it's your mama across the ring,
Yes.
you're trying to light her up.
Right.
You know
So
what I mean? So
aggressive.
it doesn't matter.
You can see Paulie's head and his shoulders, his hands, everything is engaged in his communication. There's one more clip I'd like to bring up. It's just a little closer.
Sharpen his reflexes. How do you sharpen his reflexes? The element of danger sharpens your reflexes. If there is no
One of the fundamentals of reading somebody is noticing when they tighten up their body language. They try to make their body quiet. You can see that very easily in one's shoulders. Now, look at
his
Paulie.
reflexes. How do you sharpen his reflexes? The element of danger sharpens your reflexes. If there is no danger, you're not gonna you're gonna be a little casual with your defense.
Well, you can see that Paulie's all over the place here. When he's talking, his shoulders are moving all over. What's really important is that when his head moves, his shoulders move in kind. His torso moves in kind. When somebody is closing up, when they're trying to be deceitful, those shoulders stay rigid. They stay very tight. So even if his head moves, their shoulders will stay typically very straight. Let's go back to the original footage. Okay, here's Paulie. Coming back to this clip, it jumps off the screen how different Paulie's body language is. His posture is completely different than the other 2 clips. Look at his shoulders are slumped down and even pulled into his chest. That's a very submissive posture to have. and his hands are tucked down in front of his junk. That's submissive. It's also, he's speaking with somebody who's trying to get information that Paulie knows he can't give him all of that information. So he feels a little defenseless. But let's hear what he has to say.
Last night, and the world wants to know, how did it go?
It's good. It was good. We did.
From the very beginning, as soon as he starts talking, Paulie's giving us something he's thought about. He's thought about how he was going to say this. And that's why we get the eye blinking.
How did it go?
It's good. It was good.
Right there, the rapid eye blinks, the repeated words. Let's hear how Paulie answers this question.
How did it go?
It's good. It was good. We did.
At the very beginning, we get quick eye blinks, rapid eye blinks.
Good. It was good. We did 8 good rounds.
And he repeats himself. That's just showing that he's stressed, but we already knew that from his body language. After he gives his initial impression, it was good, he then pauses with an and his eyes look in the middle distance. And he's not looking at anything, he's actually accessing visual memory. So right now, he is seeing himself sparring with Conor McGregor. The very next thing Paulie says is going to come from that part of his brain. But what he's about to say, we know is 100% true because he saw it, and he's reliving it right now.
I'd say it was educational.
And that's very interesting. It was educational. And a lot of people have speculated about what that means, because he doesn't just say that.
It was educational.
He says it was educational,
It was,
and you can see the smile, a little bit of a, you almost want to call it a smirk, but we saw Paulie's smirk, and that's not a smirk. This is more like a wry smile, and it's on the other side of his face. It's not arrogance. It's actually more of a sort of like surprised. In fact, Paulie is surprised with his answer when he says educational. Let's watch how he says this.
education.
His eyebrows go up, and this is not an overemphasized eyebrow. It goes up and immediately comes down, which is natural surprise. Let's look at it in slow motion. So right here, he is still seeing what it was like sparring with Conor McGregor. He is accessing that in his brain. And then he starts to talk. And before he looks at Brett, he's raising his eyebrows. This is showing that Paulie is surprised. Whatever he saw, he was surprised by it. And he gives a full head nod to confirm this is an intensifier, the head nod. Right here. Gives us the head nod. That's an intensifier.
I'd say it was educational.
Originally, I was surprised by so many people's takeaway from this moment, thinking that Paulie was expressing that he taught Conor something. That's not what the body language says here. As I said, he's accessing his visual memory, so he is seeing himself sparring with Conor. In fact, he's looking at Conor and everything Conor did at this moment.
I'd say
look at his body language. This is not the body language of somebody who was dominant. This is not the same body language as we saw in the other clips where Paulie was being dominant. He was smacking his lips and he was throwing his head back in contempt, and his hands were moving and his chest was out and his chin was up. No, all of that is reversed here. His body is shut down and completely submissive.
it was educational.
And he's surprised. He's very surprised that it was educational. This wry smile, it's almost the smile you would expect from somebody where it's like, all right, yeah, you got a little more than I thought. That doesn't mean that Paulie would lose in a real fight to Conor McGregor. This is just an indication that, honest to God, Paulie was surprised, and this wry smile shows us he was impressed with Conor. He is not telling us that he taught Conor something in their first exchange or their first 8 rounds. He learned something from Conor, and that's very interesting.
It was a lot of trash talking, as me and him are both.
Paulie always does this. Whenever he mentions himself, he looks at the camera.
Like I said, we did 8 good rounds of work.
We get this shoulder shrug from Paulie. He's reiterating.
Like I said, we did 8 good rounds of work.
He's saying, again, 8 rounds of work. He's surprised.
It was physical work.
In his mind's eye to the memory of sparring with Conor. He's seeing Conor in the sparring right now.
It was good work, and Conor's coming along.
He says, Conor's coming along, and here comes that smile again, that smirk. This is the knowledge that he's not giving to anybody. This is the secret knowledge. And compare this smirk.
Educational.
So after he says educational, he has this little guy. This is the wry smile. That's the, yeah, that motherfucker was kind of impressive. Surprising to me, but you got to give it to him.
Good work, and Conor's coming along.
Where this is the smirk, the same as at the beginning, where he's showing us he knows something that we don't know. My main takeaway from analyzing Paulie's body language in this video is that Paulie walked into the sparring session with a set of preconceptions about Conor and his skill level were wrong. Paulie was very surprised by that, and all of his body language shows that. What I'm most interested, though, in is this submissive body posture that's so unlike Paulie. He looks like the boy who's been chastised. He's the one with the hands in front of his junk. He's the one with the shoulders tucked in. It's almost like he was really taught a lesson, not just that his expectations were wrong, but that Conor taught him something. Anyway, that's how I see it. If you've got an idea for a video I should analyze, let me know.